consonant clusters to see in the language is just crazy. I mean, it's really hard for English people to pronounce the words and
Olá pessoal, bem-vindos a mais um vídeo nesse canal. Nós somos cidadãos do terceiro mundo e nesse canal nós reagimos e aprendemos sobre o primeiro mundo. Nesse vídeo a gente vai fazer uma reação de 7 coisas que me chocaram na Polônia.
Então pedimos que, por favor, você considere se inscrever, ative as notificações e também deixe mais sugestões aqui embaixo nos comentários. E agora vamos para a reação.
Dzień dobry, cześć, and hello. Today, guys, I'm going to be sharing the 7 shocking things about Poland when I first went over to Poland. So these are kind of some of the things that really surprised me when I first went over to Poland, and I figured I might as well share this list with you because it's kind of special to me. And I'm sure some of you who are going to travel to Poland could also hear this list. So without further ado, let's get started. Alright, so number 1 on my list might sound obvious to a lot of people, but it's quality of food. Okay, so how do I say this? Most of the food there just seems to have this overall better quality of a taste. It seems like, for example, the vegetables were picked at the right time and grown properly, and it tastes like the meat has almost a better quality to it. So I think European countries have this higher standard to cooking and harvesting foods, and I really think that equates to overall a better meal. And also, a bit of a side note, McDonald's in Poland is much better than in the States. I don't know how to really describe it because it's hard for me to tell you the taste, but it's just overall better. It really tastes more real. In the States, it just looks so plain and bland, and it also tastes that way too, but in Poland it tastes much better. Like the burgers, the Big Macs, all of that. It's just, I don't know, it's just much better. But I have talked to a couple Polish people who also work at McDonald's, and they say the same thing that we have a problem with here, which is that no one cleans the ice cream machine. So I think like the ice cream machines just never get cleaned worldwide. I think that's just like a common thing now. But yeah, the food is just much better overall. Alright, number 2 on this list.
Isso sobre a comida ser melhor na Polônia e nos países europeus, eu não tenho dúvidas. Embora nunca tenha ido lá, nem comido nada lá, mas realmente a gente vê isso, né? São países que oferecem uma qualidade de vida incrível, então eu não tenho dúvidas que a população desses países também vão comer muito, muito saudável. Isso é uma coisa maravilhosa.
Não, isso é algo que a gente constata sempre que há alguma reação aqui no canal de comida, dos sabores, as pessoas sempre elogiam muito e a gente consegue perceber como os alimentos são muito bem preparados e eles parecem realmente, eles têm a aparência de ter uma qualidade muito superior.
Is hearing and seeing the language. Now, I'm completely not used to Slavic languages. Now, you can ask most Americans, they're used to more of the Romantic languages, mainly Spanish. And yeah, I mean, seeing and hearing Polish was almost mind-boggling to me. But wow. I really enjoy the sound of Polish. I really like the Polish language a lot. But yeah, I don't know. I guess it's just me personally, but I really like to see and hear the language. I really think it sounds really cool. And I've told people this before, but it kind of sounds like this Italian/Portuguese mixed with a Slavic language. That's what it kind of sounds like to me. Uczyłam po polsku I kocham ci po polsku. And a side note on this one, I think it's like the second most hardest language for an English-speaking person to learn, I'm pretty sure. And the amount of consonant clusters to see in the language is just crazy. I mean, it's really hard for English people to pronounce the words and really kind of get into the zone with the language, but it is possible.
Mas isso é uma palavra em polonês?
Eu acredito que sim.
Mas, meu Deus, isso é impossível de ler.
Eu fico imaginando como deve ser falar isso, porque realmente eu não consigo imaginar.
And there's tons of people who have learned Polish and can speak it fluently. So just remember, it's always possible to still learn. I'm in the never-ending process of it myself. Alright, so number 3 on this list is that Poland is such a safe country, and this really shocked me. Like, you can go out at night and feel completely comfortable if you're a guy or a girl. I mean, you could just go out at night and you are not going to get bothered by anyone. No one's going to pester you. The only thing with that, I would say, is that sometimes there are some random drunk people. And with that, you know, if they're intoxicated on a substance, you don't know what they're going to do. I've had a few run-ins with some drunk people in Poland. For instance, here's a small story. I was in an ice cream store getting ice cream, and this drunk guy comes in and he's basically like throwing slurs at people, going up to their tables and talking to them. And he didn't throw punches or anything like that, but he did get kicked out. But that's really the only crazy thing I've seen in Poland, is like a drunk person going crazy. I've never seen them, you know, hitting people or throwing things at all, but I mean, you just never know with drunk people in the first place. But besides that, Poland is such a safe country, and I've never had to worry about anything ever. And even at some of the bus stops and bus stations that look a little bit sketchy, I've never had an issue, ever. So don't be an American or Westerner and think that there's going to be some evil Polish guy named Janusz sitting at the corner, or, you know, at the bazaar, the markets, saying, you know, jakiś problem, you know, what's the problem, or something like that. You know, it's just not gonna happen there. So just don't worry, it's a safe country. Go to it. Okay, so this may sound weird to some people.
Cada dia mais. Que país incrível, né?
Realmente é um país maravilhoso.
Sim.
But the old towns in Poland, Stare Miasto, honestly to me seem like an amusement park. It looks like Disney World or something like that. It looks like this beautiful preservation of history, and it really feels like you're going back in time to the old town. And most cities have old towns. Some of them are kind of the same as others, but some of them just have these extremely unique features. In Gdańsk, you can see these incredible Gothic architectures of the buildings and the churches, and these long, narrow side streets with these just beautiful views and colors on the walls. I mean, it's just absolutely beautiful, and it's something you really have to see in any Polish town that you go to. Okay, so number 5.
Isso é muito interessante, porque ele fez uma observação que a gente sempre faz nos vídeos que a gente reage sobre a Polônia, que é a preservação. Preservar as construções, preservar a sua história. Você perceba que não precisou a gente estar lá para constatar isso. Mas ele esteve lá e ele está confirmando simplesmente uma coisa que à distância a gente observou e constatou. Isso é incrível.
É verdade, a Polônia é um lugar que tem uma energia fascinante. Uma atmosfera, eu amo a arquitetura deles. É um país realmente muito, muito bonito.
5 on this list is that Polish people are really wholesome and honest. Number 1, to me, they seem like they like Americans a lot. So, you know, you're not going to go there and expect them to honestly just dislike you because of the politics of your country or whatnot. Like, you're not going to have that problem. They're typically going to like Americans overall. So I wanted to say that, but there's also this thing with Polish people where you really know if they're happy or not. Like, Polish people don't put on this facade or, you know, this fake mask like Americans tend to do where, you know, it's like, oh, how are you doing? Oh, I'm doing great. You know, everything's joyful and stuff. It's not like that in Poland. People are just straight up and to the point. If they're having a bad day, they're going to tell you that. And if they're having a good day, they're going to tell you that. And if they're happy to meet you, they're going to show you that. So just bear that in mind. And a side note with this one is that Polish people aren't like a southern town in the States. They're not going to, you know, go up to you, oh, hey, how are you doing? You know, hold the door open, and, you know, they don't have that southern charm, but they do have the southern hospitality. And they're, you know, like I said, they're not going to go up to you or like, you know, say hi, how are you doing as you walk by them down the street like you can see in America. But they're still extremely nice people once they open up. All right, so number 6 on this list is the clean transportation, okay? I was actually really shocked by this because I went into Warsaw and we go into like the tunnel and the metro, I guess it's called, and we were taking the train from like an area of Warsaw to another area of Warsaw.
Wow.
And it was so clean and quiet. It was insane. I was thinking, wow, like this must be brand new. And you know, coming from like the New York City metro, I mean, that place looks like a dump compared to the metro in Poland. I mean, it's just absolutely clean. And also people are just really courteous and respectful of each other. And I don't know, it was awesome. It was a really cool experience. Okay, so leading on to the last point there with transportation is that the accessibility of public transportation in Poland is honestly something that really shocked me. Okay, so as most people are aware, the public transportation in the US really sucks. Now, some towns and some cities, it's actually okay and it's pretty good, but overall and in general, it's pretty bad. Okay, so now the public transportation in Poland will take you anywhere. Like, you can go from any little small town typically to anywhere in Poland pretty easily by bus, by train, I mean, whatever you want. Like, there's so many different options, and it's really easy to, for example, if you're getting onto a city bus, you can change the language to English if you want, or even I think Russian as well. And I mean, it's just really easy to access and kind of get through where you're going. And
É incrível, parece que tudo funciona lá, tudo tem investimento. Então, tudo funciona, né? É investido muito na infraestrutura. Isso é incrível demais.
Sim, e os serviços são bem prestados para a população, que isso realmente é fantástico, porque é um serviço que demonstra muita qualidade.
Sim.
leading on with that, most people also speak a little bit of English, so if you're having trouble, you can always ask. But yeah, all the videos you watched before, we got to all of the towns we did through public transportation. We took buses, we took trains, and we got everywhere we ever wanted to. We never really had any issues at all. And it's also pretty affordable too. Now, not just with public transportation in Poland, but also if you wanted to fly from Poland to go to any other European country, it's super easy, it's super cheap, and there's also lots of airports. There's not just Warsaw, Chopin Airport, there's like so many different other airports. I know Katowice, Gdańsk, Krakow, Łódź, like so many other ones, Lublin even. So you really shouldn't have any trouble taking a cheap flight to really any other European country. Alright guys, that was the 7 things that shocked me when I first went over to Poland. So if you feel like you have anything else you wanted to add to this list, then just comment down below. And as always, stay tuned for the next one. Dziękuję i do widzenia.
Uau, que incrível! Eu realmente fico sem palavras, porque cada vez mais a gente aprende sobre a Polônia e realmente só confirma, né? É um país que é muito desenvolvido. É um país incrível, com muita qualidade de vida, com pessoas muito legais e que também tem um transporte fascinante, o transporte público. Porque isso é uma coisa que realmente inspira outros países. Esse moço disse que ficou chocado, né? Imagina se a gente for lá. A gente vai ficar muito, muito chocado também.
Sim, é verdade. Eu fico imaginando que a gente tomaria um choque de cultura chegando num país como a Polônia. Mas é muito interessante a gente ver que a nossa visão à distância em relação a esse país não é tão diferente das pessoas que visitam o país, né? Porque realmente a gente pode constatar através de imagens como esse país é, né? A gente consegue ver não apenas o fator histórico de tentar manter sempre na memória das pessoas que moram lá, mas também de quem visita, sobre a história da Polônia, mas em relação a esses outros fatores também, como por exemplo o transporte público de qualidade, ter uma alimentação, uma comida de qualidade, as pessoas serem honestas e sinceras e educadas, tudo isso realmente é algo que torna o país ser realmente, de fato, interessante.
Verdade, sem dúvidas.
Mas essa é a reação desse vídeo, portanto aproveite a oportunidade para se inscrever no nosso canal, clique no gostei e faça mais sugestões nos comentários.
Muito obrigada por assistir esse vídeo, nos vemos na próxima reação. Tchau!